There we go. Does it say I'm recording now? I didn't see it come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, because I can't see that part. Okay. Well, we're recording. So welcome to class tonight. And so today we were talking about, I was going to talk about sampling. And sampling is something that not everybody does, and you certainly do not have to. There's a few different schools of thought on this. Some people think sampling is total waste of time and money, mostly money, because the oils sell themselves. And if you can just get that one-on-one with somebody, then you can close them and not have to sample them. I go back and forth between sampling, non-sampling, and honestly, I take it on a case-by-case basis and go with whoever I've got. And so, Amber, I can mute you too, and then you don't have to worry about little ones.
I'm sorry?
Okay. I can mute you, so then you don't have to worry about him. And then if you want to say something, just unmute yourself.
Okay.
There you go. No worries. Okay. And then, so Stacy, have you had any, because you've been doing this a while, have you, where are you at with sampling? Have you gone?
I'm a very case-by-case basis.
You do the same thing? Okay.
Kind of go off of a gut. And my sampling varies too, because sometimes I'll just say, because I've always got my little oil case with me. I'll say, here, try this, and just let them use some of mine. And other people, I'll actually give them a couple samples. Some people I'll give one. Some people I'll give up to 5. That's my limit, and I don't do that very often.
Occasionally.
That's usually when I'm working long distance. I've only done it a few times, just because it's so much harder. I mean, when you're with a one-on-one, you can sit down and have all your little samples there, have all your oils there, do the, here, smell this, what do you think about this? And you can't do that when somebody's further away.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
most of the time it's between 1 and 3, but I don't sample everybody either.
So true. So when I don't either, there's, there are others people that you can kind of tell, like they're kind of, I don't want to say like moochers, but like looking for free.
I totally call them out. They're
free
moochers.
stuff, and they just want samples. So obviously you don't sample those people, or like anybody who's used it before, then I don't sample those people either. But if there's somebody who's like never had an essential oil experience before and they're kind of skeptical, those people I will sample if they're willing, if they'll commit to using it. So anyway, so know that take this with a grain of salt. It's totally your choice whether you choose to sample or not. It's not something that is essential to do in your business. You don't have to do it. But if you choose to do it, you have to do it effectively, right? You have to follow up. Otherwise, you are just giving away oils and losing money and not reaping the benefits of that. So anyway, so I'm going to go over, if you do choose to sample, let's get the best bang for your buck for if you are sampling. So obviously, like I said, first thing is make sure you're following up with people, right? So this is a sampling flowchart that was that we got from Elise Chedevy. Now, Elise Chedevy is the highest ranking leader in doTERRA with her husband. Like, highest you can get, she's there. And they are very aggressive. They'll do anything and everything, like try it all to see if it's going to benefit their business. They're amazing. If you've ever heard of Diamond Club, we have that program in doTERRA because of the Chedevys. Anyway, so this is their sampling program or flow chart that they've come up with. And if any of you guys want, I was trying to figure out how to I'm trying to find the location of this so I can email it, but I can email you guys this as well if you want to. Stacy wants me to email one to her. But anyway, I just like this because it just walks through how to effectively sample somebody. And I love that she has a few key phrases to help you know how to best phrase your questions when you're talking to people. So, so she walks you through right here. So giving, let's see, can you see my mouse move? Yeah? Okay, perfect. Okay, so right here, invite somebody to try a sample. I love to do this when people are like complaining about all of their issues on Facebook, and I can send them a private message and be like, hey, I saw you're complaining about all those headaches that keep laying you up for days. Would you be open to trying, some essential oils to help you with that? and then you can see for yourself if there's anything that's going to help you or not. So she suggests doing just one sample and only about a 2-day supply, so about 15 drops. And she says give them like the most simple oil and the cheapest oil. So say they have eczema, you're not going to go give them like 15 drops of helichrysum, but you're going to give them 15 drops of lavender to see if that helps them. And then let them know, hey, I'm going to call you in 2 days and see how this is working for you. That is key, because then you're letting them know that you're going to call them back. So then when you call back in 2 days, you don't, or call and check on them, you don't feel like you're like bugging them, badgering them or anything, because you're just doing what you said you would, right? Because I hate following up with people sometimes because I feel like I'm bugging them. Do you guys ever feel like that? It's like, ugh. Anyway, but if I let them know, hey, I'm going to call you next week or in 2 days, then I'm like, oh, cool. I'm just doing what I said I would. I'm not bugging you. So, and she says here it has to be a phone call. And depending upon what the person's schedule is, I do sometimes text. But anyway, do whatever works there. But I love, this to me was an aha moment, because she says, ask them, did you have an opportunity to try the sample yet? I always used to ask, how did that work for you? What if they haven't tried it yet? Right? So then now you're kind of putting them in this position of, you're assuming they've tried it. They know they should have tried it and they didn't, like, because they forgot or whatever. And then you're asking them how it worked for them. So now they're like super uncomfortable, maybe feel some guilt, whatever, right? So if you can ask if you've had a chance to try it yet, then they have the opportunity to tell you, you know what, I haven't tried it yet. And if that's the case, then you just tell them, say, you know what, do you have it right by you? Like, go grab it right now and I'll walk you through how to do it. Or you can do, because see, she has it right down here. If you say no, they didn't try it, give them instructions and tell them you'll call them the next day. Call them in the morning. So anyway, I just like that word, that phrase. Okay, so if yes, they did try it, and you ask them, how was it? So it was awesome, great. Invite them to a class, invite them to do a one-on-one with them, whatever it is that works for you. Perfect, that one was easy, okay? And however, if it went the other way, like if it was not good, then I like this little scenario down here. She's like, okay, so tell me about it. What happened? And listen to what they say, repeat a few key phrases back to them, and then she has a sample of what you can say right here, and says, here's what we're going to do. You're being patient with this process, so I'm going to be patient with you. We're going to keep trying things until we found what works. And when we do, we'll have found a safer, natural, and cost-effective way to help you with your, headaches or whatever it is you're dealing with them, and then give them a new sample. And with this one still find like a cheaper, simple oil that's going to help them. So like, for instance, say we're doing headaches. Your first try could be peppermint. Your next one could be even lavender, before, or past tense, before you get to, the lavender and the frankincense. But I like the idea of keeping the sample to one of the 10 basic oils if you can, just because that builds value in them purchasing a kit. So yeah, and then you just keep going through that until you found the one that works for them. So let's see. So then right down here, and do you guys see all this? You can kind of see, right? There's some of this is in the way. Let's see if I can move that down. I can't move it down. But anyway, still, it just kind of keeps why won't you go away? There we go. Okay. Well, can you guys see that? Because I can't tell where all of the Zoom stuff is on your screen, but
the bottom of it's cut off a little bit, but I think we can see the most.
You get the gist of it, right?
Yeah, it's just her little conversations. Like at the bottom, I can read, here's what we're going to do. Give them instructions to use their sample that day evening and let them know you'll call them in the morning. But anything below that, I can't see.
Well, the no or the not awesome is all of it is the same as this one right here.
Okay.
She just repeats them.
Okay.
So anyway, so I like this just because it's simple. I love the key phrases. There's a few things in here that like don't feel super like me. Like, I don't know if I would say like, you're being patient with the process, so I'm going to be patient with you. I mean, I would definitely say like, oh my gosh, you're being so patient with this process, and we're going to help you find something that's going to be safer, more cost effective, more natural to help you with your headaches. But I think you can tweak this, however, to make it work for you. I just like the ideas of things to say, because sometimes I don't say the best thing.
I do better when I've got at least somewhat of a script.
Yeah. I think
especially when I'm first doing things or talking to somebody I don't know. I do a lot better if I've got an idea of what to say at least. But yeah, I would definitely change the language a little bit.
Yeah. So true. But anyway, I love the script too. And then look over, and then, I mean, there's a few of them over here too. Like this little part, preface each sample with this. Trying natural products is similar to trying traditional remedies. If something doesn't work, you don't decide to stay stuck. You try something else until you find what works. And then we've found what works for you. You've found a safer, more natural, cost-effective way to help you with your whatever it is. And I love that, like relating it to like medicine even, right? Like, hey, if you go out and try the first cold and flu medicine and it doesn't work for you, you're not like going to throw your hands up in the air and be like, I'm done. You're going to go try a different thing at the drugstore, right? So why would you not do the same with essential oils? And I like that like drawing the similarities there for people. Let's see. Okay, so that was mostly it from here. So let me stop the screen share. And if you guys want, like I said, I can email that to you if you want it. So basically what it comes down to is the biggest thing is following up, right? When you're giving a sample, is to follow up with them. Now, as far as like the best ways to give samples, so they have those tiny little sample drams that you can do, and you don't need to fill them up all the way. Halfway is plenty. And then another option is roller bottles. And you can buy the little 5 ml ones. So they're, half the size of a regular roller bottle. And I buy them in bulk on Amazon, and I get them for like $0.25 a piece because I buy like 144 at a time. But I mean, you could find somebody to split some with you if you wanted, but it's not much. And that's nice because say you're giving somebody an oil that can be skin sensitive, then it's already diluted and they don't need to worry about it. I like the roller bottles too because it's easy. You don't have to put the oils on your hands and then wash your hands and not worry about touching your eyes and
people are more likely to use them also.
I think so. I think so too. I love roller bottles. It's like what we use almost exclusively at our house. It's just so easy.
Right. Unless you're wanting the aromatic. I mean, and you can do that to some degree with a roller bottle, but not to like diffuse it. But
no, you couldn't diffuse anything out of a roller bottle, that's for sure. And the only thing I don't like,
when you're sampling, you're not giving them enough to diffuse anyway.
That's true. And the sample bottles are a little hard sometimes to get the oil out, so just make sure you tell them like, okay, tap the bottom of the sample bottle. Yeah, so that they know how to get the drops out. Yep. Because I think those drops are really only like half a drop.
There are 3 drops from the samples equals 1.
So it's 1/3 of a drop?
Yeah. Although the orifice reducer's got a bigger hole now too, so it might be a half.
Okay. I thought it was half, but it could be, yeah.
It might be now because the hole is bigger than when I first started sampling. But when I first started, with that tiny hole, it was either 3 or 4 drops were the same as 1. And I explained that. And I explained how to use because I'm like, you can't just tip it upside down and have it come out.
It's not going to come out. Yeah.
The bottom of it. So I do give instructions with it because I've had people get frustrated.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Nothing's coming out.
I know. But anyway, in the 5 ml roller, I mean, if you did 12 drops of essential oil in there, that is plenty potent enough for them to receive any and all benefits in that
And you don't
vitamin
even have
level.
to fill that all the way up either.
You know what? That is so true. My sister does that all the time. She gives samples of rollers to people, but she'll only fill it like a quarter or a half or a third or whatever, just because she's like, I'm not giving them all my oil.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, so don't feel like you have to fill it up all the way for sure. But anyway, but that's just just a different alternative and a good way to do it. So one thing that can be complicated with sampling is coming up with a system for tracking who you've given samples to, and if you followed up with them, have you invited them to a class, or have they come to a class yet, or one-on-one. And there's I mean, obviously you could do like an Excel spreadsheet or something like that, or a whiteboard, but it's nice if you have something where you can just either check a box or like drag their name over to like the next column, right? So I had a call this morning with Dinah Phil, you know her on Facebook, our Facebook group, right? Okay, so she said she uses an app called Trello. It's Trello. And she uses it for organizing all kinds of things, but she uses it specifically to help with sampling. And so how it works out is you create a board. So like I'd create a board called sampling, and then I would have lists on that board. So I would have like need to give a sample, gave a sample, follow up, invite to a class, redirect, whatever you want your different lists to be. So in other words, your columns. And then you have a card. So the card would be the person's name. And then you can actually drag the card from list to list to keep you organized as you're going along. Anyway, so I thought that sounded really neat. I'm all about apps to keep me organized. Because right now I literally just like write it on my calendar with my to-dos. Like a few days from now, I'll be like, follow up with Jamie, follow up with Megan. So anyway, and then sometimes I forget like Megan who, and anyway. So that's one way to keep it organized. Tasha Smith does CRM or something like that. Did you guys know? And I tried that one, but that one was too complicated for me. I need super simple and easy. But anyway, do you guys have any other ideas or ways that you keep things like that organized, or list of like to remind you of who you're working with and where they're at?
I had the little booklet that you could get at Oil Life, and that worked for me for a long time, but then I quit using it because so much of the time when I'm doing it, I don't have that with me. So now I've just started putting it in my phone on my notes.
Okay.
And because I've got a section that's specifically for oil stuff. What do I need to order? Who do I need to talk to? But I'm terrible about it. I'm not good at it. But since I've been doing it on the notes on my phone, I've been a little better. But I'm still small enough. That's okay.
Yeah.
As you grow, that may not.
Well, you know what? I think that would work no matter where you're at, as long as if you have an ongoing list of who I'm working with, even if you just had a list of who I'm working with, right? Mm-hmm. Like that would remind you with each person. I mean, you're going to remember, oh yeah, I gave her a sample.
Well, it's been really good for me to follow up even with my retail orders, because I'll have somebody come say, oh, well, I'm thinking about getting this from you soon, but not commit to it. Then when I'm going to place my order, I follow up with them. I can say, okay, I've talked to this person this month, and I actually got a sell out of that this week, because I'm just like, okay, I'm placing my order. You mentioned you wanted these 3 oils. Do you want me to place them on this order? And she said, I don't want these 2, but I do want this one.
Awesome.
And so that's a much better way for me to do it, is just to have it on my phone. I can say, hey, these are the people I need to check with.
Good. I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's great. I think on your phone is best, just because our phones are always with us. Mm-hmm. If you have it on something written down or on your computer, it's not always going to translate over unless you move it over, and that just seems like a waste of time. So yeah, I'm all about whatever's on your phone, whether it's an app or just in your notes, and just simple is best, whatever's going to keep it easy for you. Dinah likes the app because I think in there she has a list of everybody that she eventually wants to share with. So she
Well, and
has
I
like,
think that's good. I think that that would be good to have when you're working long term with people too. When
yeah.
you want it. I did a training class one time where we had those columns like, this is the person I want to talk to. Okay, I've sampled them, so I move them over to the sample. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now I need to follow up with them. And you move them in the columns like that. And I just did it on paper. And
Yeah.
but then you can look back over the last several months to a year and say, okay, I dropped the ball with this person. I can go back and follow through with them, or this person, it wasn't the right time, but I'll keep an opportunity for this. So I could see where that could be really
Use,
good for
yeah.
longer term
So
kind of stuff.
true. So true. Because there are some people who you're like, okay, you try to sample, like you're not, like they just won't commit, right? They're like, yeah, I
How
don't
many of us
know.
have worked with somebody for a year or two or
Oh
three
yeah.
before
And
they
then
ever
they
do
enroll
anything?
after 2 years. You're like, okay,
Right.
that didn't take long.
But if you've got something to reference and say, okay,
Yep.
I these are what we worked with, these are the samples. I mean, that would have come in handy for me this week. I worked with a lady for 2 years before she enrolled, and then she enrolled and she's only ordered like 2 little things in the year. But her husband called me this week and he's just like, we want to use this for this, but we don't know if Olivia can have this one because she's really sensitive to tree oils. And he was looking at cedarwood and I'm like, it's a tree oil. So before you buy it, come over, let's have Olivia smell it and see if it's
She can
something
handle it.
that you can use, because he wants something natural to get rid of pests in his house.
Mm.
And so it would have been nice for me to go, oh yeah. If he hadn't said, is this a tree oil, I would have forgotten completely that she was sensitive to tree oils. But
Cedarwood is definitely tree. Very
yeah,
tree smelling.
yeah. And she's never reacted too badly to any of the oils except geranium.
Hmm.
She had a really bad reaction to geranium, but I knew she was allergic to tree oils, so we didn't even pull those out. But it can take years to do that, and it's good to have that reference to see what you've done.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Did you guys have anything else before I'm going to end the recording, and then I have bonus information I'm getting you guys because you're on live?
Nice.
No? Okay. I'll stop the recording.